Since we're all collectively going through Chiron and Aries retrograde right now, I can think of no better time than now to talk about this energy. Oh, and if you're Generation X, you really want to listen to this message. What is Chiron and Aries? Well, Chiron is about a soul wound. And for those of us who have that in our natal charts, like myself, Gen X, 1970s baby, we have self-worth wound issues. We absolutely do. We were, the last generation of feral kids. We came home to empty homes at a very young age. Many of us didn't make it out of the womb alive. We were the first generation to be large-scale aborted, and those of us who made it out of the womb alive often didn't make it out of childhood alive. And prior to our generation, the generation that was born during Chiron and Aries were the Depression babies. So they have self-worth wound issues as well, but for different reasons. Theirs was more of the material values, whereas Gen X is more of the emotional values. A lot of us suffered a lot of emotional, relational neglect. Chiron is in Aries yet again. The generation that's being born, come to find out, a lot of them are not making out of the womb alive either, but for different reasons that I can't talk about on here, because we know from 2020 people who talked about this stuff got censored. So you know what I'm talking about. A lot of stillbirths are happening, a lot of miscarriages now, and nobody wants to talk about it, but that's what's happening to this generation. And the ones that do make it out of the womb alive, you better believe they're going to be some tough cookies. They're going to be some fighters. As a Gen Xer, I've had people who've gotten close to me and they know my story, they know my background, and they're like, oh my gosh, I would have never guessed that you've been through that. Like, we can walk stuff off. We've had to learn some really difficult lessons about picking yourself up, dusting yourself off, and getting on down the road. Self-reliance and not relying on other people. And we can take things with a stiff upper lip that a lot of people, again, would be like, oh my God, if Gen X is tough like that, and you might not be able to tell on the surface because we don't wear it on our sleeve. No, we take it in stride. So now, if you're not born during those generations, you're still being affected by this energy. We are all collectively going through situations in the world where we are having to step into our own authority. Issues of bodily autonomy are coming up. The right to be self-directed, the right to self-determination. And yes, post-2020 and what happened, people are starting to understand that nobody should have the right to tell other people what to do with their bodies. You're seeing this with the trans movement as well. Like, we collectively as a society are having to figure out, where do we draw the line on bodily autonomy and allowing people the right to choose their own course and direction in life. And some of you, you're not dealing with those kind of issues, like you are clear within yourself, but on a more mundane level, maybe you're dealing with coming to this realization that you kind of want to unplug from this matrix. You don't want to be another cog in the machine. You want to get off the rat wheel or whatever that society wants to put you on, because you start realizing, like, this matrix is rigged. Stuff's not adding up. And maybe you're dealing with a lot of chickens trying to tell you as an eagle that you can't fly, and maybe laughing at you for daring to try, right? Trying to go your own way. See, a lot of people try to break out of this matrix and live differently, and I'm not talking about getting gauges and tattoos, and no, I'm talking about go living off grid. Like, decide, I think I'm gonna go get some land and live off the land, and I'm gonna be self-employed, and I'm not gonna work for these corporations, and I'm gonna be more of an independent entrepreneur spirit. I'm gonna have more of a maverick mentality, rather than being another droid or NPC or whatever. I'm going to take the lead in my life, whatever risks come, right? Aries is a leader. Aries is a bold leader. Aries is a visionary. Aries is a warrior, a pioneer. And yeah, maybe, at times naive and taking risks, maybe Aries shouldn't, but damn it, Aries is going to take some risks. And we're dealing with a society who has been conditioned to not support that and to shun other people or discourage other people who do. And I ain't gonna lie, it's not easy. As one of those people who Chiron and Aries generation, and going through this energy right now, definitely triggering me. I am kind of digging my heels. I'm like, damn it, I don't care. I'm going to live my life, and I'm going to stop selling my life to the highest bidder, which actually ain't that high. It's this attitude of, I am going to start believing in myself even when nobody else is. I'm going to encourage myself even when nobody else is encouraging me. This is, I think, the healed voice of Chiron and Aries. And that's the point of the energy, is that you heal that soul wound so that you can bring healing to others. I'm not saying it's pleasant. It's actually quite painful. And believe me when I talk about the pain, because not only am I Chiron and Aries generation, I am at an age stage in life where I'm going through my Chiron return. Sweet Jesus. Basically, if you were born 1968 through 1977, if you are ages 46 through 55, you're either coming into this, or you're in the thick of it, or you're coming out of it. Most people go through their Chiron return at roughly 52. I mean, I'm 48 and I'm in the thick of it right now. And basically, this is where Chiron comes exactly to the point that it was at your time of birth, and you have to do a life check-in of where you're at on healing the soul wound in your life. You're going to get triggered. And believe me, I have absolutely been triggered, and having to look at how many people I know and have known in my life who have not, as far as I can say from my own opinion, not valued me, not added value to me, maybe even stripped value from me, and understanding that I absolutely do deserve to be valued. And how do I heal that wound within myself and, stop aligning with people who can't or won't add value in my life? And more importantly, how do I add value in my own life when others are not? Again, regardless of where you're at on this generationally, I think this issue is hitting close to home for many of us, where maybe you're working a job and you're not being paid fairly, or you feel like you're being exploited, or you feel that demands are being made out of you that are asking you to compromise your authenticity, who you are at your core, and honoring your true north, what you should be doing in your life. And you pair this with the fact that the nodes just shifted into Aries and Libra. Holy crap, we collectively are having to look at this of, how do I step into my own individual power without trampling on that of others? How do I empower myself while empowering others? How do I align with partnerships, relationships, others, people, in a way that creates win-win solutions? I don't lose myself in others, or I don't feel like in order to win with others, I have to lose myself. This is going to be a really big theme over the next 5 months. Basically, since June of 2023 up until December 26th of this year, 2023, we are all collectively reevaluating this issue of asserting my own needs without being made to feel guilty for what I am asking for myself, and standing up for my needs and advocating for my own best interest just as much as other people are for theirs. Or working out within oneself these ideas of, like, that are in conflict, these ideas of, well, this is what I want, but society is making me feel guilty for daring to ask that or expect that or go after that. Why? Because maybe they didn't have the courage to go after it for themselves, so they think you can't or shouldn't either. If any of this made sense to you, like if this spoke to any of you, what I just said, if this is like speaking your language, like you're going through these issues right now and you want to do some healing work,